what can only be described as research out there today. Piece of the Telegraph has published parts of it as well, in which it says that some towns in this country have 20% of people living on disability benefits. 1 in 5 people in some parts of this country. Personal independence payments generally being at the top of it. And of course, one of the places where it happens the most is in Labour-controlled Wales. Darwin, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks very much for having me on the show.
Not at all. Good to see you. This is a remarkable piece of research because it really shows what a lot of us feared, I suppose, was going on. But you've absolutely nailed it in black and white. Tell us what you found.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. Yeah, what we've done is we've launched an interactive welfare dashboard, which you and all your viewers can go and use at benefitsdata.uk. And what it does is it breaks down the number of people claiming PIP and the enhanced mobility component of PIP as well for every single local authority in the area, every single parliamentary constituency, every region and every country, including England and Wales. And what it does as well is it breaks it down by condition. And so what we are seeing, for example, is the #1 local authority for PIP claimants is Blaenau Gwent in Wales, where 211 people per every 1,000 of the population there are receiving PIP.
It really is extraordinary, isn't it? And so much of it sort of, you know, somehow sort of concentrated in certain parts of the country. I mean, we learned this morning from a piece in The Guardian about how the NHS is being kind of ghettoised. In some places it's worse than it is in others. But in many parts of Wales, an awful lot of the people, more perhaps than in the rest of the country in Britain, are on these benefits.
Yeah, and what we found in particular, which is interesting given the current debate with the welfare bill going through Parliament, is that 110 of the MPs that represent the English and Welsh constituencies that have signed that reasoned amendment against the government's welfare bill have 858,000 people receiving PIP in their constituencies. And when you break that down, again, accounting for population, that accounts for more than 1 in 10 people in all of their constituencies receiving PIP. And I think the overall thing that we have to really take account of this is that taxpayers cannot afford this continually spiralling bill to pay for PIP and other benefits as well. And what we need to actually see is all political parties across the spectrum actually putting the country's finances first over party interest and deciding to actually not significantly reduce the amount of people actually receiving it, but slow down the increase that are receiving this benefits, because frankly it's just unaffordable right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm told, and you can probably confirm this for me, there's 1,000 new applicants a week on this PIP payment scheme, which is £1,000 a day, I should say, which is growing obviously exponentially. And we've now got a situation with this welfare bill where, because the backbenchers of the Labour Party have revolted because they don't want to see any changes at all to welfare, it's never going to go down, is it? It's only ever going to go up.
Well, that's the real concern. And as you say, I mean, those figures that you bear out, 1,000 people, that is bearing out in the total figures as well, because what we've seen since January 2019, which is when our data starts, up to April 2025, which is the latest data, 1.8 million were receiving PIP in January 2019, 3.7 million received it in April 2025, over 100% increase. And let's put aside for 1 minute the number of people claiming it, as you say, and let's look at the costs of this. So PIP and its forerunner, the Disability Living Allowance, in 2015-16 had total expenditure of around about £22.3 billion. It's forecast by 2029-30 to be £43 billion. Now, to put that in real terms for you and your listeners, that's 17,000 average lifetime household taxes that are going to have to pay just for that increase in a single year. And so what we're actually seeing is this is completely unaffordable. We're already going to be facing a record tax burden as of next year, and we need to clamp down on the benefits bill so that then we are not putting more and more of the cost onto taxpayers who are already too far pressed. Yeah,
and in terms of the way that the whole scheme is kind of functioning, is it different in terms of geographically where you are? Does it? I mean, are you more likely to succeed in a claim in one area rather than another? I'm told that the qualifications for getting it are really quite simple.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't a large variety. I mean, we do see, as you've mentioned, that the figures in Wales are significantly higher, so I think that does warrant some further investigation. But the concern is that this isn't really impacting a sole area of the country. It's affecting the entire country right now. And what we need to do, I mean, it's partly because, obviously, under the last Conservative government, we saw kind of a parity given between physical and mental health conditions as well, which has partly seen the increase specifically in psychiatric conditions that are receiving PIP. But what we actually need to see is really be going back to the pre-pandemic levels of what we used to do. I mean, as I say, the number has increased more than double than before the pandemic. And what needs to happen is we need to get back to a situation where those people, obviously, who really deserve it and need it and can't actually afford to look after themselves, are receiving support from the state. But those that can go out and can work and can look after themselves, we need to actually support and encourage them to get off a life of benefit and a life on dependency on the state.
Yeah, well, that would be a great start. It'd be a very good place to start, and it's a very, very valuable stuff that you've done. So let's hope the government takes some notice of it. Darwin, very good to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Darwin Friend, Head of Research at Taxpayers Alliance. A very valuable piece of research into just what is eating this country. Because what is eating this country is that a fifth of us are on some kind of disability benefit. And clearly that is not sustainable, is it, in any way, shape or form?